Okay, guys, let me formally welcome you to this class, the Digitability Masterclass. I really appreciate your taking time out on a weekend to join this session. And in another 2 hours or so, we'll be out of here. So, but I want to assure you that it's going to be a 2-hour well spent on this session today. So I'm very aware that there are a number of senior colleagues on this session today. I appreciate you taking time out to join and for investing in this. I really appreciate that. I also want to thank especially the Yemi Fashion network for collaborating with us on this particular program. And of course, other groups as well who came en masse, if you like. So just a quick rundown on how the schedule is going to run today. Thank you. Amazing. Taiwo Abatan, thank you so much for joining. Amazing. Thank you for joining. Just a quick rundown on how the session is going to run today. I will be taking the session in an hour, 40 minutes or so. I would implore you to please put down your questions on paper if you have them, so that during the session there will be minimal disruption. Then of course we'll dedicate some 15 minutes, full 15 minutes or so to take your questions. Yes? If you have been to the landing page that sort of promoted this particular program, you will see that amongst all the list of benefits or the items we hope to cover on this particular session, I did promise some bonuses, okay? So hopefully you want to stay in the session until the very end. And then of course, even on top of that, you're going to be having an insight into certain offers that I have to offer you. So once again, welcome to this session. My name is Olufunke Adio. I'm a people transformation coach and agility trainer. Please, can you confirm that you see my screen before I continue with the session? Can you please drop in the chat that you see my screen? Just help to confirm that you see my screen. Amazing, Ellen, thank you. Thank you for confirming. Thank you. Amazing, Grace, thank you. Odola, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for confirming. Absolutely. So I would assume that everybody is seeing my screen. Abraham, thanks. I appreciate it. Okay. All right. So again, this is the Digitability Masterclass. This is all about sharing how to learn digital skills fast. And as we go on in the session, you would absolutely understand why I'd had to put the session together, and hopefully be able to glean substantively from the session. So why exactly did I create this masterclass? What's a big deal? Why are we here today? And the truth of the matter is I have been in a number of sessions where the subject of digital technology or digital transformation is being discussed. And I've been very, very aware about a number of comments or concerns that some people have had, you know, with respect to the subject of digital technology, particularly with the whole idea of interacting with it. I have come off a number of sessions wondering why people are so reluctant to embrace digital technology and digital skills in general. So some of the things that you see, the items you see on the screen right now are some comments that I picked up from sessions that I facilitated in or sessions that I've attended, you know, bordering around digital technology. And I've seen comments like, I paid IT to set up my blog, but to my greatest surprise, it crashed in just 3 months. Hello? Okay, so this is somebody speaking about some blog that they paid an IT person to put in place. Fine, I understand how it might be that some people are busy, they have their hands full, but just looking at it on the surface, really a blog is very simple to set up, isn't it? Even if you're not in IT, you should be able to set up a blog. So another person says, if a tester course is this hard, then I don't think I want to register for the boot camp. So in this particular session, there was this person looking to sell a certain boot camp for a digital course. Then somebody says to the person, you are showing us this tester course, something that's really supposed to pull people in. So they have an idea and a feel of what the session is going to be like, okay? And the person says, even the tester course is too hard, meaning he's not looking to registering for the bigger course. You get the drift. Another person said, if anybody understands what she's teaching, please help me out. This is my email. And then he puts his email, meaning the person is not understanding jack as far as that session is concerned. Then another person said to me, actually, some time ago, this person said, the directors prefer in-person training. Some of them aren't comfortable with all this virtual stuff, So here we are. These are some of the comments that I have seen, and it dawned on me that this idea of reluctance to embrace digital skills is way more pervasive than I had imagined. And then it got me thinking that perhaps I should put something together. So compare and contrast with what you see on the screen right now. So what you see on the screen right now was something I shared some time ago on my LinkedIn page. And I did share my journey into digital technology and how I was surprised, completely surprised, when after I lost my HR job, yes, I decided to just get moving with some of my knowledge in IT, digital technology, and all of that. To my greatest surprise, I put together for a client 2 websites, actually. And guess what? I got paid to the point that the fee for all of those, for both websites, actually superseded my entire salary, that I was earning while in HR. So it was really a light bulb moment for me that, yes, there's something in here. Okay, there's something to be explored in this particular space. Okay, so yes, I have absolutely encountered and interacted with digital skills substantively in spite of my HR background. And so, but the question is, so what? So what? What's the big deal about embracing digital? I mean, what is it all about? Well, the very first thing I would like to say as per this whole idea of digital technology and skills is that digital is the major driving force in the world today. When we speak about the idea of the world being disrupted, absolutely, digital technology is a major culprit in here. Okay? Number 2, we see clearly that many organizations are striving to respond to this disruption. Your organization may be one of those, yes. So we see, again, with what COVID did, it pushed all of us into digital. It pushed all of us into the online space, and it's really a reality today. Again, it is important for us to accept the idea, the reality that digital is here to stay. And we're going to be inside this whole space for a very, very long time. So what I'm saying here is that it's important for us to begin to change disposition. on events that were not particularly open-minded in this regard. And then number 4, it is important for us to realize, yes, that the world of work has changed forever. We see major multinationals even doing hybrids, okay, of both remote work and then physical work. Again, we see how, thank you, Rachel. I'm just saying your chat. Thank you for confirming that you see my screen. Amazing. Okay, so for example, we see what mobile is doing, where we are all connected right now. Subconsciously, we live on our mobile phones. Many of us wake up to grab our mobile phones first thing in the morning. Yes, I don't want us to do a show of hands because many of us will be guilty. All right, so digital revolution is on. And one of the biggest terminologies in our world today is digital transformation. Everybody is doing a digital transformation because it makes sense, okay, to go where the market is. Doesn't it? It makes sense. I see because of this that it is important for us to just stop playing the ostrich. We should just stop it, okay? We should stop playing the ostrich. And what do I mean by this? I mean that we should stop pretending that we do not see, observe, notice, okay, that there's a digital disruption going on. Again, like some of the statements I showed in the very first or 2 slides, how people are reserved or reluctant to embrace all of digital, we see how that is a reality. We see it is a reality, it's a fact. But the thing is that we really absolutely need to make a move to change that disposition. As a matter of fact, many people who are affected by technology are the ones who, who never imagined that they would be affected by technology. Okay, so in the heat of COVID, wave 2 of COVID-19, as announced by the federal government a couple of months ago, I did get an invite to do a training somewhere, a group of directors actually with a particular organization. And then my contact said to me, I actually showed you this statement in the first slide as well. My contact said to me, she said, the clients actually prefer in-person training, because I'd asked her, I mean, is it a virtual training or a physical session? Now she said to me, she said it is a physical training. That some of the directors are very uncomfortable with this virtual stuff. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Yes, with the second wave of COVID in the air, I would rather do a virtual training, so of course, I had to put down my feet on that one. Okay, so this is our reality. The world of work is changing. The nature of work is changing. The definition of what it means to be a worker is also changing, isn't it? Industries are evolving. And then we find that new jobs are emerging, especially in the IT space. Have you noticed? A whole lot of jobs are emerging in that space. And again, we see the culprit here, that digital is the core driver. IBM did put out a statement a while ago, a very interesting one, and it was about e-commerce and the change that happened in that space. They said that e-commerce actually grew by 20% in 2020 and accelerated the shift from physical shopping in store to online by about 5 years, 5 solid years. That's a huge one, if you ask me. That's a very huge one, if you ask me. Okay, so it's a reality today. Before I go any further, I think it is important for me to just introduce myself a little bit more, so you get a better insight into who I am and why I feel very strongly about talking about this subject of digital agility. So my name, again, is Olufunke Adio. I'm a people transformation coach, and of course, that's from my background in behavioral sciences and agility trainer. And I help individuals and organizations to remove behavioral barriers to extend themselves, to produce more, and to exceed their goals. Right now, and the reason why you're on this call is because I'm on a mission to demystify digital technology and skills. So I've been privileged to interact, engage at several layers and levels with a lot of local brands, I beg your pardon, as well as international brands. So I absolutely started my work life as an e-learning executive way back. Way back. Don't ask me for my age. Okay. So yes, I did start as an e-learning executive. I transitioned into HR, but my passion for tech really never left me. Yes. And along the line, I've done quite a long number of things in that space, to the point that I have a multiple of interests, and I would normally design all of my websites for all of my various interests. I would design all of my landing pages. If you landed on the landing page for this particular program, absolutely is one of the things I put together myself. At some point, I actually ran a business where I would register domain and hosting for businesses, for organizations. And then I would, just design applications. I actually have a product in the market that is targeted at the younger demographics, and is an interactive application that has 6 products in it. Yes. So I also like to design graphics, actually. I feel like design is something that is very innate, is inborn. I came like that. That was how they made me. So I have that flair for design, and I can absolutely navigate my around design. The items you see on the screen were designed by yours truly. And of course, how would I put this now? My love, one of my biggest motivations, one of my biggest strengths is in writing. Okay, so I have a lot of articles that I've written, about 80 of them plus, around the subjects that on agility, emotional intelligence, productivity, just things that really, really mean a lot to me. And currently, I'm a writer with the Workbook magazine. And then, of course, I'm an author as well. I have a book, aside from the other one I showed you earlier, making 2, author of 2 books. I have 2 books in the market. And then, of course, I've been a publisher and editor to a leadership magazine, faith-based magazine. One of the best moments of my life was when I worked with this particular nonprofit organization. I met the biggest names in that sector, and I've interviewed a whole lot of them. Overall, it was such a brilliant experience being on that job or work. Okay. Then, of course, I'm a management trainer. I've been a trainer all of my life. I don't know, what else I do better than that. Okay. I did recall also that some time ago when I wanted to, just explore a little more, at this particular point in time, app design and development was the in thing. I just decided to design an app just to show myself that I could do it. Then last but not the least, I love to cook. People who know me say that I should open a cafeteria for rice, for different versions of rice, because I know how to cook. All right, that's just on the lighter notes. But really, what I'm trying to say here is that many of the things that I absolutely come from a place where I believe that I can do anything I really want to do. I can do anything that I really want to do. And that is the same mindset I'm hoping that all of us will bring into this digital arena, into this digital space where we are now being compelled to stretch ourselves and to do more with digital skills. And this speaks to the idea of agility. Okay? For me, I believe absolutely that we are in an era of agility. Can you confirm in the chat whether you agree with this assertion or not, that we are absolutely in an era of agility? I'd like to see your feedbacks in the chat. Do you absolutely believe without a doubt that we are in an era of agility, where there is a demand on us to actually be nimble, be flexible? Yes? Amazing. Ellen, thanks. Yes, so Grace, absolutely agree. Amazing. Olutola, yes, so amazing. Everybody is agreeing. Odunola, thank you. Yes, I see your feedback. Amazing. We are absolutely in an era of agility. It's just the way it is. And just to put a definition to it, yes, I think it's important to just put a definition to it. Promise. Amazing. Thanks for confirming that. Yes, so, okay. Agility is the ability to move quickly and easily. Huh? It is the ability to think and understand quickly. You see that? It is about being nimble, being adaptable, able to respond to change quickly. I think that's the most profound, I would say, as far as this definition is concerned. It is the ability to respond to change quickly. I did share with you early on how I lost my job in HR and I took another one in IT. Believe you me, I didn't miss a beat. I moved from HR to being a business owner in IT in just a matter of 2 or so months. And the 2 months really was for me to just breathe, when you feel like, oh, well, let me just rest a bit. Yes, I just used that 2 months to sort of catch my breath. I already knew I was going to start my business in HR, in IT, I beg your pardon, which I did. Okay, so of course my love for HR never left, and I still had to go back. So balancing the two has been, interesting, to say the least. Okay, so that is what agility is. Being able to respond to change. In fact, you need to be ready, almost like you are in a state of I'm ready to move, like I'm born ready. I was born ready kind of posture. You get the drift. Excuse me. So this statement you see on the screen was made by a colleague very recently. Very recently, this person said to me, he said, we started our project on AWS. AWS is Amazon Web Services with some experts in Germany. 2 weeks later, they said there were new improvements from AWS to which we needed to cater to. And I was like, wow, that statement just sort of typifies what it means to be in an era of speed. Yes, where everything is pam, 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 pam. The speed is incredible. So Amazon Web Services really is where everybody is going to now, isn't it? It's the cloud, and there's a whole body of knowledge in that space. And here you feel like you've gotten it all, you have it all together. And 2 weeks down the line, sometimes even less, you see these changes come, and you absolutely cannot just feel like I'm there yet. You can't be like that. You can't be like, I'm there yet. I've gotten it all sorted out. You can't be like that. Okay. You absolutely have to have that posture that says, what next? So what next? And I tell you that posture will be extremely important and invaluable in your career, in your vocation as an entrepreneur, as a professional person. That posture is a 21st century posture, I promise you. And I feel like something that drives agility really is curiosity. I have a whole course, where part of an entire course where I talk about the idea of curiosity and being innovative. And again, not innovation as we think about all those mighty innovators, just little ways of innovating. And that really hinges on our curiosity quotient. And the question is, how curious are you? How curious are you? How curious are you about the disruptive era? How curious are you about digital technology? Just touching everywhere. It's touching our lifestyles, it's touching our businesses, it's touching our profession, it's touching everything. How curious are you? How much of research are you doing in that space? And some of the questions I have on the screen right now speaks to some of the questions we really should be asking ourselves. It is about understanding the nature of these ongoing disruptions. And sometimes it may not be digital. It may be any other thing. But really, it is the idea to say, are you attentive and are you asking, brilliant questions? What does this disruption, what does it mean? How is my particular industry being disrupted? What does it mean for my line of work? So you see the questions, you see how you can begin to ask questions and how these questions can actually position you to leverage or to see opportunities where people are not even seeing it. Another question is, how is disruption affecting my clients? Brilliant question. Oh my goodness. One of the brilliant questions, most brilliant questions you would ever ask. How is disruption affecting my clients? And then it gives an opportunity to begin to explore and how to meet them where they are. Yes? Another question, how do I add value within the prevailing context? You see all these questions? Yes? Another one, what do I need to know in order to leverage disruption for impact? Another one, what new tools are available? That's a very powerful one. You know, a huge part of why we are here today. What new tools are available? Another one, what collaborative productivity tools can I leverage for impact for my team and all of that? And last but not the least, how do I gain the requisite skills in order to function? If you agree with me that all of these questions are valid, especially to ask in a disruptive era, say yay. Okay, just do some agreements or whatever in the chat. Let me hear you. These are very, very valid questions. And you know, the more questions we ask, the more robust our questions, the more we are positioned to think differently and actually amazing. Thank you, promise. Thank you, Olutola. Yeah, Odola, thank you so much, guys. Yes, amazing. Thank you. Thank you. I see your feedback. Elaine, thank you. Amazing. Yes, they are very, very valid questions. And then you can definitely amend this based on your particular context and see how you move ahead. So we're all caught up is what it is. Yes, many of us are now familiar with Zoom, Webinar Jam, Microsoft Teams and all of that. We're settling into all of those tools. But the question is, what else? What else after all of these ones? What else? And it's the reason why we are here today, to say that there is more, there's more that we can do with digitability, being digitabilized. Okay, there's more really. And I always like to speak about digital skills in 3 domains. First is on the individual domain, because I see how vital that is. Number 2 is the organizational or corporate domain. And then number 3 is the entrepreneurial domain. I see clearly how digital technology affects all of these 3 domains. The number 1 domain is the individual domain. Okay, I was taking a digital agility class some time ago, and somebody asked the question. I share what they asked on the screen. It says, give us a few tips on how to help convince people to change, especially in the new IT skills required for the new age that we live in. That's interesting, isn't it? So you see that focus on an individualized level where people are looking for answers. They're looking for the best ways to learn digital skills quickly, to change mindset. Because for them, it is clear, it's very glaring that it is relevant for today. Digital skills, just the whole idea of embracing all of the digital domain is important. And that person said, okay, this is the same person actually. How can people quickly overcome the fear of agility in this new era? And then the person goes on to say, many are really scared of grasping the new skills requirements. That's interesting, isn't it? That's quite interesting, just to hear, the concerns of people around this space. And why this is even important is because you see people hammer, over people's heads, get digital skills, and they really do not care to cater to the mindset of reluctance, okay? All of those negative conversations that go on in people's heads that actually stop them from embracing digital skills. And I see how that is such an important thing for me because of my behavioral background. I'm very, very conscious and aware of how behavioral patterns and mindsets can actually limit people. So as far as the individual domain is concerned, one of the things I'm looking to address is to help you to unravel your dislike for digital technology. You may not be able to even explain it, but it's one of the things I'm really positioning to do. Again, to help you to unravel why you hold back on learning digital skills, even when the importance is obvious. Then number three, I beg your pardon, to equip you with the mindset to acquire any digital skill of your choice. Number four, to increase your learning agility in order to keep up with the rate of change with digital technology. Number five, to increase your chances and opportunities for the new roles, the new digital roles that are emerging in your organizations. I tell you, one of the things that happened with COVID really was that organizations had to step back. They needed to just appraise the whole of their head counts and then ask themselves, all of these head counts that we have, do we absolutely need all of these people? It was a wake-up moment for many businesses. And even though many jobs were lost, guess what? Many businesses brought on digital jobs. They opened up digital roles. And imagine where you didn't have to lose your job because you could absolutely fill into a digital role. Have you ever thought of that before? Where in the same business and in a very difficult employment market, you really can transition in between roles. I'm not saying that you do not have a career. No, you have a career, but you can absolutely juggle if you choose to. Imagine being in that kind of a space. And guess what? It is what our lifestyles are going to be going forward. The gig economy, where you're not just having to work, because of one singular skill that you have, but because you have multiple skills that you can deploy across board, across several domains. That's an interesting line of thought, isn't it? Okay. Yes. So the digital difficulties I see with organizations has to do with, many of the tools emerging today. People are moving to the cloud, and then a whole space of new knowledge domain is now opening up. You find businesses looking for people who can actually do online cloud services and who can keep their data secure. It's a domain that is so huge, and I dare say that it's important for us to be aware of that so that we can key in, just be generally aware, okay? So there was this particular survey that was sponsored by Jabil, where they focused on about 300 technology and business stakeholders in manufacturing in particular. And this were some of their discoveries around the digital transformation challenges that organizations had. And if you look at the 1, 2, 3, 4 domains here, you will see that across 100 employees, 5,000 employees, and even more, you find that there was a factor that was common amongst all of these domains, and it was the employee pushback. The employee pushback. And it begs the question, why is this the case? Why is digital transformation suffering in some of our organizations because of employee pushback? And it goes to say that there's something there, isn't it? There's some mindset issues there. There's something that businesses and leaders need to begin to look at, especially in an era where you need to move quickly, where you absolutely need to move with speed. One of the things I love most about the McKinsey study and the trademarks of agile organizations is their focus on the people dimension, but even more on the technology dimension. So McKinsey talks about strategy, structure, process, and people, and then technology as the major trademarks. I can't go into all of this. I can't go into all of this today, but trust me, this is a whole body of knowledge on its own. My focus here today, and why I always like to talk about technology, is because it is a very, very pivotal dimension. And closely related to that is the people dimension. This is where reskilling, upskilling, and retooling comes in. This people domain is where HR and business leaders really needs to begin to focus on reskilling, upskilling, and retooling, okay? And we're saying that in order to change with speed, the kind of speed that we require, we absolutely need to delve deep into modifying our mindsets and changing our behavioral patterns, especially with technology, digital technology. So as far as the corporate domain is concerned, my goals are very straightforward. I want a scenario where people are able to develop digital orientation skill sets for the new world of work. Also to develop and sustain mindsets for that are relevant for digital transformation processes. And then last but not the least is to have them become open-minded, okay, on the implication of the digital revolution for the work of work, the worker, and the workplace. As far as we are going to be cruising on this digital freeway, we absolutely have to be open-minded. For the HR people on call today, we see how important this is, how our work is changing, and you absolutely have to be open-minded to what is work? Where do people do work? What does work even mean? Okay, the worker itself, how you define a worker is changing. Who is a worker? Is it the person that sits in the office 8 to 5, that is your worker, or the person that you see maybe once in a week or twice in a week, but the person has deliverables that they're knocking off for you. So you see how all of that is changing, how it is important for us to just have a change of mindset. And then of course the workplace. Okay, we'll not overflog that because we know a lot about this already. Again, last but not least, the difficulties around digital applies to those in the entrepreneurial domain. So I don't know, does anybody know this lady on the screen? She's a YouTuber. Let me see how many YouTubers we have here. Can anybody just speak to me? Could you just tell me if you know this lady on the screen? She's a YouTuber. She shared a story recently that sort of just resonated with me, and I thought I should use her as a case study in this particular session. So talk to me if you know this lady, or perhaps she's looking different because of the makeup. You know, the way makeup makes us look very different. But anybody, I'll be happy to see somebody get who this lady is. Yes? Okay, so while you're still thinking about that, let me just go ahead to what it is I'd like to talk about her. This lady, an entrepreneur, very interesting line of work, young lady. She sells ashrebi for the socialites among us. We know what that is. Yes, and she's actually had an online business for several years until 2018 or thereabouts, where she just felt, I should have, a physical store just so I can have a contact location and then to just have a place I can call my own. Long story short, she took on a store somewhere at Lekki, very high-end place, spent money renovating, no customers. Yes, for some reason, it just wasn't working out. She changed strategy and said, okay, maybe it was just a location. I would look for some other place. She did find another place, a smaller place, same story. She really couldn't recoup her investments. On the other hand, her online store was just moving free. Interestingly, she already had a clout on social media with her YouTubing and all of that. So it made sense for her to just remain in that space. So she did say in her own words that she absolutely just wasted money with physical stores. Okay, because even when COVID came, she was just about to make another down payment for another store, just like, okay, trying to try again for the third time. But she was really absolutely pleased that she just hadn't made that commitment before COVID happened, our money would have just gone down the drain. Okay, so it is the whole idea that entrepreneurs even have to begin to reimagine what business is in a day and age like this. I'm surprised that nobody has spoken to who she is. I'm the only person that knows this girl, and that's interesting. All right. Anyway, her name is Tolu Lopez Solutions, just in case you've encountered her before and you just, didn't know she's the one. Anyway, one of the many YouTubers that we have today. So, yes, she has now said to herself, no more. I stick to my online store and I just push that agenda. So she's reimagining really what it means to be an entrepreneur. And interestingly, she has orders from everywhere, from UK, from all around the world. It's quite interesting what the entrepreneurial space is becoming today, just because of digital technology, isn't it? All right. So as far as the space is concerned, I'd like for us to reimagine what operating a business really means. I'd like for us to be positioned, just change our posture in order to increase our business opportunities as entrepreneurs. For the entrepreneurs on call today, I know we have a number of entrepreneurs on call. Yes. And then to be able to say, okay, these are the degree of automation I can embrace, I can use for my line of work would also be fine. And then I'd like to also introduce you guys to some free e-commerce solutions that are available out there. Our session focus today, never mind that I'm doing this 40 minutes or so into the session. It's just my thing. It's just my style. I don't like to do things every way that people do them. Okay, so I would like for us to just do a rundown on a number of things we'll be focusing on today. Number one, why many people feel uncomfortable with digital technology and what we can do about it. Number two, why some digital skills can be very intimidating. Number three, the biggest skills to have in a digital disruptive era. Number four, the top 10 digital related entrepreneurial skills. Number five, benefits of getting on quickly with digital in today's fast-paced world. Number six, prevailing mindset that keeps people from gaining digital skills and how to modify such perceptions. Number seven, practical tips to learning digital skills fast. That really right there is the crux of today's session. Then, of course, I'll be sharing with you my bonus, which, of course, I put out there that I'll be sharing. Number one is my webinar sales funnel. And number two is an overview of digital marketing with Facebook ads. So the question is, why do people feel uncomfortable, even scared of digital technology? If you're on call today and you feel like you have an answer to the question on your screen, please drop it in the chat box. And if you feel very strongly about this, please unmute yourself and talk to us. Yes, considering the nature of digital and how integrative it is with the whole of our lifestyles, how is it that some people will still be reluctant to embrace digital technology? We've all been asked to go to NIMC centers to go and register for NIM, isn't it? I don't know. There's been this whole conversation about how there is no innovative thinking or critical thinking around the subject of making this into a digital conversation. Why are we not harnessing digital to do this? Why is it always convenient for us as Nigerians to always do the hard work? Like, it always has to be difficult. People have to stand in the sun. People have to always be on queue for 24 hours before they can get anything done in this country. I mean, could this be the answer? Could it be that people are really, really just fixed-minded as far as exploring, as far as harnessing, as far as leveraging digital? Talk to me. Olutola, I see your comment here. Olutola says some people feel they can't do it or it is not necessary. Amazing. Wow, that it is not necessary. Okay, I wish if other people were not dependent on them, like the example that I gave right now, if people were not dependent on the efficacy or the viability of that system, then it wouldn't matter if it were just for them as individuals. It wouldn't matter if you're not looking to push boundaries as a career person, as an entrepreneur. It would be fine if it's just you. But where other people's time and wellness is concerned, and you see a posture where people are like, or maybe government in this case, they're like, we can't be bothered. You people have to just do this thing manually. So it then becomes a problem, is what I'm trying to say. But thanks for your contribution. So Mrs. Fasharo says, it's a mindset. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. I absolutely agree. Ellen says, it's a poor or lack of proper orientation about the subject matter. That's an interesting line of thought as well. Okay, but I absolutely agree with all of you guys. Thank you. So let's move ahead. So I'm asking a direct question here now. We've talked about why people, it's easy for us to talk about other people. So the question is, how do you feel about learning digital skills? How do you feel? Okay. A couple of years ago, people had to, learn Microsoft Suite and all of that, because in many businesses, it was a criteria for you to even enter. And right now, the bar is drawn higher. And I'm going to be showing you some, examples. In almost every vocation, the bar is being, drawn higher. So it's beyond Microsoft anything now. It's way beyond that. So if you're courageous and you like to speak to me, I'm not assuming that you, are reluctant in learning digital skills, but just talk to me. If you are vulnerable enough to share, just talk to me. How do you feel about learning digital skills? Do you feel confused? Do you immediately feel agitated, frustrated, stressed, scared? These are basic emotions that some people feel when they learn about things that they do not necessarily want to go into. When they hear about things that it's not in their radar, and then you bring it to them all of a sudden. These are emotions that we feel. So talk to me. I'll be happy to hear your contribution. There's a reason why you subscribed to this course, yes. And chances are you really want to improve something in that area, which is absolutely in order. It's absolutely in order. Thank you, Taiwo. Taiwo says, eager, it's inevitable. Oh, thank you. That's having to learn digital skills is inevitable, isn't it? Thank you. It's now inevitable. Really cannot run away from it, is what we're trying to say. All right. So Olutola says none of the above, please. So I would assume that Olutola is somebody who is open to change, who is very flexible. Thank you, Olutola. You can please talk to us, unmute and talk to us.
Yeah. Good evening, madam.
Thank you. Good evening, madam.
Thanks for this opportunity.
Yes.
I'm so excited to be part of this training.
Amazing.
Actually, in fact, I'm very happy because when I saw the information on our platform yesterday, I quickly grabbed it because I like to learn all the time. Amazing. Even though I'm not really very good in all these techniques, but I believe gradually I will move on. So I really embraced it. That's why I say I'm not confused. I'm not agitated. I want to learn, and I feel I'm part of you.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for that contribution. Yeah, so we want to see more. Thank you, ma'am.
Can I say something?
More. Yes, please. Yes.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Omokorede Fashoro, and thank you, Mrs. Adio, for this opportunity. Well, looking at all the words, I wouldn't say I'm confused, agitated, but sometimes it gets overwhelming. So as a result of that, I just, step back. Because you try to learn one thing and then it keeps branching out, and I just give up. So that's mainly why I'm here. How can one deal with so much information, so much to learn, so much to know, at the same time? Thank you.
Amazing, amazing, wonderful. Thank you for that openness, to share exactly where you are at. And I absolutely agree, and I can relate with that. I can relate because, even as somebody who is attuned to digital, I can absolutely say that it can be a lot. Trust me, it can be a lot. And so sometimes you absolutely have to know what you're looking for, and just stick with it. And then sticking with it means you're also being open-minded, because guess what? That one that you have identified and you are sticking with, tomorrow they will change something about it. On Facebook right now with digital marketing, with Facebook ads, there's a notice that for iOS users, some configurations will change. And so if you are somebody who have said, oh, I've gotten it all figured out, tomorrow they'll change something. So it would always help. And guess what? I'll take you on the journey today. So please relax. Just be relaxed, and then we'll figure this thing out. Okay? Thank you, Promise, for contributing. Promise says he gets anxious, but that he's ready to learn and to know how to figure this out. Amazing feedback. I love it. Thank you so much, guys. So we move forward. Okay. So number one reason why people draw back from digital technology and skills, why they draw back, from engaging digital technology, has to be, number one, their non-IT background, either formal or informal. They just don't have any background in IT. Number two, they're not actively engaged with digital tools at work. This can actually be a scenario. You get that? Then number three is a limiting mindset. We're going to see how, all of this plays out in a minute. Then unfounded assumptions, that's number four. Number five, being change averse. And number six, perceived cost implications. Number seven, environmental factors. Number eight, priorities of and illiteracy of policy makers. So I feel like number one and two are so close, almost intertwined. And that is the idea that some people, they don't have any IT background, and they do not actively use digital technology or tools either. So for this category of people, I feel like the best thing that they can do for themselves is to step out, that beyond their work, beyond their 5 to 6, 8 to 5, I beg your pardon, they would absolutely need to extend themselves, especially for, people, young persons, or just even established persons in career looking to just change vocation, or to expand their sources of income, because that is a thing today. You can be in HR, you can be in whatever field that you are, but many of us today, and it's a reality, are looking for other streams, just to complement what it is that we have. So for this category of persons, I would absolutely say you should be ready, eager, willing to step out of your regular work and do some research, yes, in order to just learn what you need to learn, and be what you need to be. Number three is limiting mindset. This is huge. This is really, really huge. And you find people say statements like, I just don't like tech. When you hear statements like that, you see where the mindset is at. You hear people say something like, I'm too old to figure out tech. Statements like, I'm too old to learn anything new. It's just not for me. My current job is the only thing I have expertise in. These are just limiting mindsets. For goodness sakes, who says you cannot learn anything new? For goodness sake, who says that one line of work is just the only thing that you absolutely have to know. It's important to know that our willingness to be agile, especially because of the era that we are living in. We didn't create all of this. We are just experiencing it. We are observing what is going on, and it's important for us to be able to adapt so that we do not become obsolete. It's important for us to be willing to address mindset. To address mindset, begin to listen to what you say, especially when it comes to learning new things. And then some people will say, I can outsource it. Okay, so if you have the budget, why not? But I would always say to people who choose to outsource, at least be informed. Be aware of the basics. Otherwise, the money you are thinking you want to, conserve, you're going to waste it eventually. If some contractors come to you and say, we can do this or that, we want to put a website for you, want to put a blog for you, and all of those electrical, technological, jargons that they put together, and they end up just, I don't want to use the word duping, but yeah, it just would help if you know the basics, is what we're trying to say here. And then, of course, another one is unfounded or incomplete assumptions. So all of this conversation around artificial intelligence coming to take over our jobs, everybody is shaking, especially HR people. I have a number of HR people on this call today. Yes, there is anxiety around artificial intelligence coming to take over our jobs and all of that. I would say some of these assertions are unfounded. There's some truth in there that AI is coming to take up jobs, but it's coming to take up repetitive, task-based jobs. And so what that means is that human beings, all of us, can now elevate to another degree, another layer of expertise, another layer of higher jobs, to take on more creative-based jobs. So you see, at least that is the way that I choose to look at it. I hate to limit myself in this, to join all of that conversation. I mean, I see it as an opportunity to elevate to a higher level, okay, to do other things that are new. I personally love to explore. So I think that would always, work in a number of instances, okay? So please let us reorientate ourselves as far as that conversation around AI is concerned. There will be other jobs that would impact our lives in even very, very significant ways. Number 5 is just the whole idea of being change averse. Some people do not like to change anything. They don't like to change their jobs. Yes, unfortunately, COVID can come and rattle all of that. We are seeing it happening live, okay? Some businesses will say, oh, we want to go paperless, we want to do just digital. Come back 2 months later, they are back to paper-based work. Yes, because people are just change averse. And if you do not have a leadership in place that is ready to sort of drive the change that you want, people will just remain the way they are. And all of your investment in digital transformation agendas is going to go to waste, is what it is. Yes? So some people absolutely love their comfort zone, is what we're talking about here. And whenever I think about this idea of being change averse, what comes readily to mind is the media sector. How disruptive that sector was, how affected they were, let me just put it that way, with the whole of digital. So this particular statement that you see on the screen was a paper editor talking to an online editor. you know, that era when news started going online. This editor said, "Get the hell out of here. I've got a real newspaper to get out." Meaning he, as a paper editor, you know, has a real work to do. All those online people don't have a real work. Hello, today, how many people read newspapers today? When was the last time you read a newspaper? Paper, as in the flipping one. How many times? When was the last time that it happened? Just to show that this change is intense and it is real. At that point where media was going online, was something that was not conceivable to paper editors. They just couldn't imagine how advertisers would prefer to go to the internet to place adverts rather than placing adverts in physical paper. Today, before you watch 5 minutes of YouTube, you will see a corporate advertisement. I think it's just amazing what I'm trying to say, what our world has become with digital. Number 6 is the perceived cost implication. So sometimes people just have this weird assumption that digital is expensive, Oh, it takes a lot of money. Yes and no. Yes and no. So some of it can be really cost intensive, and then some others not so much. If we do not research, we wouldn't know. For example, most of the website tools you find, they are free. WordPress is free. Joomla is free. We all know because we use Canva for our Instagram pages, is free. Many video editors are free. They're free. Some of them have paid versions, but basically they are free. Okay? So please let's be mindful of that. Number 7 is the priorities of and the illiteracy of policymakers in our space. We absolutely need to address this. And of course, to be conscious of the source of some of our resistance or reluctance to embrace digital. There's nothing in the national space that speaks to embracing technology whole scale, nothing. So it pervades our entire psyche, our overall psyche, is what it is. There are no models in that space that would even encourage the younger ones to explore this domain. You see, other than using mobile phones to do photos for Instagram and making SMS, sending, and all of that, there's a whole lot more. But as far as that national drive is concerned, it is a huge limiting factor. And this factor goes straight to our psyches, okay? And is affecting us. When this conversation around cryptocurrency came up, guess what? There was this overwhelming awareness that even the police, the law enforcement, they didn't understand it. Okay? We agreed that there may be some issues as per that, but as a concept, as a digital concept, many of our policymakers, they are lost. They're clueless as per all of this space. It's the reason why the NSAS protest and all of that came about. Why? Because as far as a Nigerian law enforcement agent is concerned, once you have technology in your hand, you are using it as, a criminal platform, which is not the case. And you see how far off we are from other nations that have gone, China and India, that are aggressively, driving this whole culture from primary school. Do you believe that? From primary school. We don't see any of that happening in this country, and it touches me. And it's absolutely touching, because why these young people are going to grow up not understanding the power, the force that is able to bring into their lives as far as being advanced or even being profitable is all about. Okay? So, yeah. again, as a nation, we're not looking to even adopting progressive models that we find in the world today. It seems like for the most part, our priorities are always out of order. I don't know what's going on, but it's as if there's no direction. I saw this particular photo of Omar bin Sultan, okay? He's now 30 years old, the time I first encountered this story of him being the state minister for artificial intelligence in Dubai. I was impressed that a country, yes, they have a minister of state, not just for technology, for artificial intelligence. Hello. Well, I don't know. And then, of course, this lady, I stumbled on her as well, I think about 2 weeks ago or so. So she's the Minister of State for Advanced Sciences. And then it looks like we're not copying any of these models. We're not copying any of these models. And I would say, yeah, that these things affect us. They affect our psyche. They mess up our orientation as to how we really should be interacting with digital space. So I would admit, like some of us have indicated on this call, I would admit that sometimes digital can be very intimidating. It can be like it's a whole lot. But what I would always say, like I said earlier, let's just focus on the areas that we need. Once you're able to focus on the areas of importance, you can just let the rest, let it slide, just let it go. Okay, so I remember when I started using Facebook ads to drive my digital marketing, I was experimenting more or less, and I quite enjoyed the process. But learning the tool itself was completely clumsy. And that was unusual for me because I like to see myself as somebody who picks up things easily. So it was a bit of a bumper for me that Facebook ads, it was somehow. But I can be very, very determined. I can be very, very determined. I can chase after something that I really want to chase after. And today, I can just go on there and just be playing. Yes. So I absolutely agree that some tools can be intimidating, but really, I want to say again that many of them are intuitive. Many of them are intuitive, and they're not difficult. The reason why you are looking the other way is because you have not attempted it. You have not tried it. If you absolutely need something, you have done your research, you've asked all of the questions that we did say early on that we should be asking ourselves for career, for vocation, for entrepreneurial, whatever it is. If you ask and you have all your questions answered, begin to research these tools. And you'll be surprised that many of them are like drag and drop. Excuse me. Drag and drop. You pick this here, you move it here, you click on this, and then you see results, okay? So, what are the biggest digital skills that we have today, that we can begin to use? Like I said before, these tools have applications, whether we are working as individuals or we're working within an establishment, and they are really relevant for all of these domains. So I've captured a few of them. Some of us may be already aware. Some of us may be already interested in looking to learn some of these skills. Ms. Fasoro says, very, very sad indeed. Thank you. Absolutely, I can imagine the state of the country. I think that's what she was speaking to. It's very, very sad. Okay. So many of these skills can speak to us. We know some of them. Number one, data science and data analytics. A lot of HR people, for example, are looking into that space right now. Excuse me. I'm trying to control the temperature in the room before I freeze here. All right. So data science and data analytics, digital business analysis, programming and web development, cloud computing, digital project management, app development, digital design and data visualization, digital marketing, social media marketing, content marketing, email marketing, digital cryptocurrency. So all of these things, they are there. And these are just a few that I'm just sharing with us. Please, you can absolutely feel free to explore some of these domains. As far as HR is concerned, which again, this is my own space, we're seeing how analytics is a big deal, and many of these skills are now available in courses that we can begin to learn. And it's a way, I dare say, of making ourselves ready, of equipping ourselves for that next job. It's not all of the time waiting for a promotion within your organization. Yes, if there's an opening for another role, you can always, just do that vertical, horizontal movement within the organization, because you are already open to the idea of learning new things. So I captured this particular job offer on one of the groups that I belong to, and there is this role for an HR manager. It actually is a senior HR manager, and the requirement is 10 years experience, male or female. But if you look at the list of experiences, that they're looking at, you can see HR analytics and reporting. Yes, you can see business analytics. So please, let's not just miss this point. See, employers are beginning to demand these skills. Imagine if you already have this and you qualify, is what it is, isn't it? See, HR digital skills. I didn't put this together. I just captured it from a group. So it's reality, is what I'm telling us. It's reality. We shouldn't just wait for things to happen. The more open you are to just embracing what is available out there, the more you are ready for opportunities whenever they come. Whenever the opportunity comes, you are ready. Because maybe after work on weekends, you're already catching up with some of these courses, you're preparing yourself. Okay? So something I'd just like to share with us is a little off-course digital, but something I feel so very strongly about in terms of just skilling and getting ready for the next big thing. All right? And it's this idea or subject of agile. A couple of years ago, about 3 years precisely, one of the businesses that I facilitate for reached out to me and said, Ms. Adio, I would like for you to take a course. We're wondering if you know anything about this course. I said, what is it? He said, leading agile teams. I said, leading agile teams. I'll get back to you. I went online, did my research, because it occurred to me that agile is not just used as an English word in agile. It actually was capital agile. So I knew there was something in there. I went online, did my research, and I was like, wow, agile, I like this. So agile is a terminology in IT, but is something that is finding its way into our organizations, into multinationals and SMEs, I dare say. It's a philosophy, it's a set of principles that drives efficiency and iterations. Okay, there's a lot to it, but it's a space that is opening up. And what I like to always say to people, get to listen, give yourself the permission to explore. The more I explored the subject of agile, the more it occurred to me that there's an agility dimension to it. And I said to myself, this looks just like me. I'm an agile person. I'm a growth kind of person. I would like to explore this some more. So of course, I took the course for that class, my very first class. I absolutely enjoyed taking the session, but then it didn't stop. Okay, a couple of months later, I got this note in my inbox, my LinkedIn box, a message, and somebody from Canada got across to me and said, we love your take on agility. We've seen a couple of your articles because I was already in love with agile and agility. And I was already writing. I told you I like to write, right? I was already writing about the subject. I was into this thing, man. And so this person said, we'd like for you to speak, please come to speak to our group, IT professionals in Canada. They wanted for me to come and speak to the association on the subject of growth mindset and agility. I said, this is interesting. So we did that. We got that out of the way. And then CIPM has been doing this series on agile workforce, the concept of agility. And I'm so happy that they are in tune with global trends is what it is. And I've been taking series of courses on agility with CIPM since 2 years or so now. Okay, so is what I'm saying, that being aware of your environment, seeing what is going on, and being able to leverage, to learn quickly, this agility, isn't it? So moving forward 2 years down the line, I was even opportune to now do another, I think it was last month or so, the Agile Reflect 2000 was a global event of agilists, global event. And yes, I was also invited to speak. Somebody, she's actually on this call, got to me on LinkedIn again. Yes, I think I was the one that reached out. I don't know, but we just started this conversation on agile and agility, and we just clicked. So I was on a panel for that global conversation on agile. And it's amazing, guys. Let me just say, it's really amazing. Posture is very important. We really should not restrict ourselves. Yes? Okay. Okay. Olutola, okay, I'll private chat you. I see your message. I see your message. HR, she's asking for HR. That's human resource, right? Okay. You get that? That's human resource. Thank you. Amazing. All right. So speaking further about the subject of agility, it just occurred to me, the more I study, the more I see, how hydra-headed it is. And for example, I will never take a leadership course again, the way I've taken it. I've always taken it. There would always be a bent of agility in it, okay? So please, if you are interested in exploring this agile domain, feel free to go to scrum.org and just feel free and to explore what it is that they have there. I assure you that many of these domains will be in demand in the next couple of years in Nigerian workplaces. I beg your pardon. Okay, so that was just by the way. I needed to really, really share that because it's close to my heart. So what are the top entrepreneurial digital related skills? Number 1, communication, finances, branding, marketing, networking, automation, design, analytics, tech, self-education. So this was what Ms. Sasha was speaking to, that it can be a lot, you have a lot to deal with. But then again, I would say focus on your focus, identify the ones that are key. If you absolutely have to outsource, I'm not against outsourcing, just have a knowledge of the basics. Having knowledge of the basics is important. Okay, I have to move a bit quickly here. So we find that communication will never remain the same again. As long as we have the digital domain here, it will never remain the same again. So there's a need to communicate, not just normally, but across platforms. Yeah. Finances, there are a number of tools that help people to manage their money, investments, and all of that. Branding, there's a whole body of knowledge around being able to curate great content. So even that is being democratized because it is no longer the exclusive preserve of advertising agencies. Many people are now being encouraged to become individual brands. You understand what I'm trying to say? As long as the digital space exists, there will always be a need, to move in that direction. Marketing is a very, very big one. And then, of course, there's this body of knowledge again around being able to tell stories. and weave it around your product and your services so that you're not just dropping products on people's laps and say, oh yeah, buy. Okay, there's a shift, if you like, into that realm of advertising that is attuned to storytelling and being able to drive traffic. Of course, networking is a big one. Automation is massive. Automation is king. I can't speak enough about automation because when we have a whole lot to juggle, you have your technical skills to juggle, you have a business to run, you have a career to run, you absolutely need automation. You set things up and you leave it to run. Digital can do that for you. All right? Maximizing workflow efficiency. Design is also a very big thing. Thankfully that there are tools today. Analytics is huge. Yes, almost every digital tool today has an analytic dimension to it. If you are even using Google Docs, there's an analytics dimension to it. Whatever tool you're using, for the most part, they're building analytics into many digital skills today. And of course, tech, this speaks to the idea of maybe e-commerce, you having a website, and self-education is to cap it all off. You absolutely need to be nimble and be willing to learn new things. What you see on your screen right now are tools that I find are very relevant for some of these domains. Your content marketing, social media marketing, your email marketing, the visual content marketing, all of these things, they may look like a whole lot, but guess what? If you are sticking with just one or two of each, then you see that it's not a big deal. Okay? What I've done here is to list a number of skills and tools, I beg your pardon, but it's just to give us an idea that there are a whole lot of them. So let us not go after a whole lot of them. Just stick with one or two after you've done your research. And the one or two, the criteria might be that it's simple to use, it's very intuitive, it takes your fancy, and it just works for you. It just works for you, and you just stick with it. For a very long time, I used, what do they call it now? Is it Chimp? Email marketing tool. What is it again? I'm not sure if it's MailChimp. I'm not sure if that's the one I use, but I did use one for a very long time until more recently when I started my online course creation project. I moved to Active Campaign and I'm loving it. I'm sticking with it. So please, let's not put ourselves into that space where we easily become overwhelmed with these tools. Just pick a few and stick to it. Just stick to it. So definitely there's a democratization of digital technology, and I assure you that in a little while, most of this technology and tools will become just like Microsoft Suite. They become like everyday thing, and already we are experiencing that, isn't it? So I see this lady, somebody I met online. I followed her quite a bit. I noticed how clean her designs are, very mature. Her designs are on her IG page, and I dropped a comment for her. I said, wow, really, I respect. Yes, I said, I hope she has a designer competency somewhere in her resume. Yes, because she's really indeed mature as far as her color schemes are concerned. So these tools are there. These are some of the things that she did also. Never went to design school, but she really is having some level of consistency that I really love and I admire. So many of these tools and skills, copywriting, content management, advertising, digital advertising, they will become normal, everyday stuff. Okay? It's just a learning curve and that process that we are navigating, but they are going to become like everyday thing. So benefits of digital. Why should you absolutely get over your fear of digital and just do it. And just do it. Number one, the current digital landscape has changed. We've said that already. Number two, and this is a big one, customer expectations are changing. Number three, the future is digital. Yes, the future is, I said this earlier, that we should just settle in and sit down, grab a cup of coffee. We are in this for a long haul. We don't want to be obsolete. We want to move quickly. Otherwise, the competition will move faster. The competition is adopting all the tools that they can get. So if you want to stay where you are, it's going to be a problem, is what we're trying to say. Number four, the fact and reality is that efficiency, as far as it lowers costs, is going to be preferred. It's going to be preferred. Number five, I will explain that later. Another fact is that there are increasing options, and simplicity is becoming a goal for many digital technology and tools. Number six, another fact, there's a factor that for you to access business opportunities, you absolutely have to embrace digital. Number seven, another fact is that long-term, digital and automation boosts your business and makes you to move faster. All right? Number eight, last but not least, you do not want to be irrelevant. You do not want to be irrelevant. Number one, the digital landscape has changed completely. We see the data on the screen. This is Nigerian data, statistics rather. January 2020, we see the total population. We see the mobile phones, in the country. We see internet users. We see the active social media users. We see the figures. This is from Hootsuite. It's big deal. This is big deal. We see a global equivalent, big figures, big deal. Everybody is on digital, mobile platforms and all of that. Number two, customer expectations are changing. At the advent of COVID, we see how customer expectations completely changed. People were not interacting. They wanted to be served online. And so what did many discerning businesses do? They changed their own tactic, their delivery tactics, their execution tactics. All of that changed. Okay? So the customer has changed. The expectations of the customer has changed. And when I think about that, what easily comes to mind is Kodak. How many of us know Kodak? Talk to me. How many of us know Kodak? I want to see how old we are. If you are under 20 years old, I'm not sure you know Kodak, but talk to me. Who knows? You might be a learner and you have been, catching up on internet information and all of that. So please talk to me. Yes? Okay. Aha, Olutola knows Kodak. Amazing. Ms. Fashoro knows Kodak. Interesting. Only 2 people on this call. Why? No, it can't be. There has to be more. Hello. Who knows Kodak here? Kodak. Anyways. Okay, I have 2 people raising their hands. Do you want to unmute yourselves and talk to me? Yes? Please talk to me if you're raising your hand. You can unmute yourself and talk to me. Amazing. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I see people raising their hands. Do you want to unmute or you want to send us a chat? Am I missing something? Okay. So it's good to know. It's good to know that some people on this call who know Kodak. Anyways, Kodak used to be into film for photos, isn't it? And they did help build memories for almost a century. Imagine a business that stayed a dominant player in their industry for 100 years. They were immovable. They were immovable for that long. And I dare say that they really felt immovable to the point where they didn't see the internet coming. Okay? They didn't see online platforms that would want to share images and photos in real time. They didn't see it coming. And as a matter of fact, quite frankly, and to their credit, I read a bit about how they did their research, trying to explore and understand all of that digital space. But it was complex. I don't think it was something they were quite able to navigate. And of course, they went bankrupt. It was hard to imagine that people would want to put photos on, for example, Instagram, as opposed to printing it out in paper and putting it in an album and storing it. No, people wanted to share their memories in real time. I think it's just brilliant. Oh, and again, it speaks to the idea that you just can't be stuck in a mindset, because absolutely you don't know what will change. You don't know what will change. So yeah, when I think about changing customer preferences, I absolutely think about Kodak. Number 3, the future is digital. Can I tell you something? Most of the knowledge we have about what artificial intelligence is doing right now is what experts have called narrow artificial intelligence. I tell you what that means. What that means is that anything, task that you're trying to, automate by sort of telling the machine exactly what to do, is still in the domain of narrow intelligence. Guess what the internet, the artificial intelligence domain is actually going to? That domain is actually going into what we call creative artificial intelligence. What does that mean? It is a domain where machine will be thinking for itself, and machine will be thinking creatively and innovative. That's another level altogether. That is another level altogether. Okay, so please, let's settle it. Yes, we know that some of us may be somewhat reluctant, but let's settle that this is for the long haul. This is absolutely for the long run. Number 4, why you should get on with digital very quickly is that efficiency coupled with lowered cost will always win. You cannot even fight it. There was a story I read about the first industrial revolution where steam engine steam technology, let me put it that way, as an innovation was being introduced into that era. Guess what? The people that had gotten used to using their traditional ways of being were resisting that era, to the point where they were beginning to capture and kidnap the children of the inventors and innovators around steam and steam engine. But it's not something you can fight. The moment something becomes cheaper and becomes more efficient, just embrace it. Because ultimately, even though all the Amazon Web Services and co may cost a whole lot today, they will ultimately become cheaper because many people and players are coming into that space. Alibaba is coming into that space, okay? Google is coming into that space. So ultimately, you're driving efficiency and it's also cheap. Hello, you can't fight that. You absolutely can't fight that. You only have to just embrace and settle in it. Increased options. I tell you that really, in exploring digital tools, I will say this with all sincerity, that it only gets simpler. It doesn't get harder. I've seen again and again, even for tools that I've not touched in ages, when I go back to it, I'm blown away at how much effort has been put into making the tool simpler. So simpler is always like a constant goal. It's always like a constant goal for developers as far as digital technology is concerned. And again, this also speaks to the idea of even payment systems. How many of us paying for this session would say, okay, let me go to the bank or what? I mean, payment systems are all over the place now. They're online, isn't it? They are online. Paystack, Flutterwave, and GTP. They're everywhere now, making payment systems completely hassle-free. You sit at your desk and you're good to go. Then when we talk about hosting courses, your e-commerce and all of that, it's getting simpler and simpler and simpler. It's what we say. Paystack used to be strictly a payment engine. Now they're also into e-commerce. So just look at that thinking. So they're not only saying push your payments through us, they're saying, hey, we can make your life easier. Yes, let's also handle the payments for the products that you are hosting on our platforms. And they make these things look like it's just Coke and Fanta. So easy. Seller is a big one. Okay, some people actually saw this program on Seller because it's on Seller platform. All right, that's another one. The tools are many, and I don't know. Thinkific is a foreign one, but it's a free service that allows you to host your online courses in case you have courses you want to sell. They give it to you free until maybe you perhaps want to upgrade because of some features that you absolutely need. All right? So again, why do you want to get on with digital skills very quickly? Because you might be missing out on business opportunities if you're not really embracing all of digital. All right. For budding entrepreneurs, you already see that there are a lot of tools that you need. In fact, that's a big one for entrepreneurs. So many tools. And all of these tools ultimately saves you money, saves you cost. Okay. Because if you do not want to hire a professional to do your digital marketing, you can absolutely do it yourself, is what it is. Okay. So that's for I don't want to overflog that. Then, of course, the whole idea that there's a ease of doing business long term. Email marketing software are so affordable. Some of them like $15 per month, depending on how many contacts you have in your package. Okay. So yes, I'm just sort of trying to create an awareness that these tools are out there. I'm mentioning some of them in particular so that I'm not just speaking, abstractly. I've interacted with some of these tools, and absolutely you can do the same as well. Last but not the least, you don't want to be a dinosaur. You don't want to be relegated to the background. You want to be at the forefront of your career. You want to be at the forefront of your vocation, of your business, and all of that. We cannot overflog all the benefits of digital. Last but not the least in this session today, I'll be taking us through practical steps to gaining digital skills fast, sharp. How many of us wants to know? Talk to me in the chat box if you're interested in this particular segment. Talk to me. You may also be good. You may be good already, but we can always learn new tricks. We can always learn new tricks. So please talk to me if this is something you're looking to do. Yes. Ms. Fasharo, yes. Amazing. Thank you, guys. I see. Olutola, thank you. Amazing. Brilliant. Any more confirmation? Do I go on or do we just call it a day? Yes. Onola, thank you. Amazing. Thank you. Who else? Do we call it a day or do we go through this amazing last wrap? Yes. I'm waiting for your feedbacks, waiting for your responses. Yes. Amazing. Eileen. Eileen says, call it a day. No. Amazing. Promise. Thank you, guys. Amazing. I see your feedback. Okay, so I'll continue because you have asked me to continue. I will continue. All right. The number one thing I would like to say as far as being able to gain digital skills fast. Thank you, Elizabeth. Amazing. I see your feedback. Please go on. The very first thing I like to talk about is that, sorry? Okay. Just try it. Identify your digital needs. Talk to a coach, a consultant if you need to identify the specifics for your business and then just try it. Just try it. Because some of these tools can be diverse. They are coming from different domains. And I find that being able to identify what you need, it doesn't even feel like work when you really get on there and touch them or use them. It doesn't feel like work because you feel like you're using Microsoft Word even. As if you're writing a memo, you're writing an article with Microsoft Word. I'm talking about the ease that can come about with using these tools sometimes. So please try it. Just try it. Then number 2, embrace adaptability and be open-minded. So many of us are too closed-minded. We restrict ourselves too much. Embrace adaptability and be open-minded. Number 3, learning agility. I will not overflog that, but we've spoken to that a bit. Learning agility. Number 4, adopt a growth, not a fixed mindset. And number 5, adopt effective reframing techniques. I'll speak to all of these things one after the other. The first is for you to just try it. You see, what happens and what I find in many instances is that some people touch digital tools, they feel overwhelmed, they get confused, and then they just drop it and walk away. No. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Fine, it can be confusing at first. Okay, if you append that phrase at first, it's complex at first. You know what? Just step back. Step back. You are an employee, you're supposed to navigate a certain tool for your work. It's confusing. You spent 10 weeks learning a particular tool. No. Okay? Just because you're reluctant to get back to it, it seems confusing, just step back. Don't step away, is what I'm trying to say. Don't leave it and just move ahead to other things. You can step back and then get back into it. I promise you, if you get back into it, you are going to find gold. Amazing. Ms. Fashara is confirming that this is her, that she walks away. Is that what you're trying to say? Please, don't walk away. Don't walk away. Yeah, don't leave it. Give it a break, like step aside from it. Breathe, do other things, but make sure you come back. Make sure you come back. And you see perhaps something that you missed, or even go online and look at videos. Just take a moment, just look online and see videos. You will see dots that you missed, and you'll be able to connect them back, is what I'm trying to say. So please don't always, just leave it and walk away. Number 2, embrace adaptability. I've spoken to this a lot. I did put out a post some time ago, on LinkedIn, and I said, it's easy to assume that adaptability happens naturally over time. Maybe. But the thing is, in an era where speed is king, moving or adapting slowly comes at a price. Why? The competition has gone ahead. Or maybe somebody within the organization that knows more than you has taken the job, and you were in that business before that person. And then you're complaining they don't promote people in this business. And no, it's not that they don't promote people in your organization. They're looking for skills. Yes, organizations are looking for skills today. It's not only about paper. Okay? So I'm saying here that adaptability is critical. It's a huge competency that people need to bring to work in today's world. All right? And when you talk about adaptability, I'm talking about the idea that mindsets have to be adjusted. Learning agility is huge. We see this quote all the time. It's actually some quote that was, from Alvin Toffler. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. We cannot emphasize how true that is. For me, this speaks to the idea of exploring and stretching. Guess what? When people like to know the secrets to my growth mindset, one of the things I like to share is that I never allow any moments to waste. It's not me. Okay? When I'm going to cook in the kitchen, for example, I have a strategy. that I use. I go after a video I've always wanted to listen to. I put my earpiece on, I put my pouch on my palm, I'm cooking and I'm listening to something. Hello? So it's not me to sit down somewhere and wait another 4 hours before I get back to my computer. No. 30 minutes of cooking is productive time for me. So the food is one, but I've gotten, something that I was looking to get. I track videos I want to watch, audio podcasts, and I put them like that. I go after it. No moment is wasting. If I'm resting, I know I'm resting. But any other moment of my day, of my life, is productive time. One of my friends, Bumi Akonwo, she said to me, Fuka, you're a learning machine. A learning machine. She was the first person to say that to me. And I was like, oh, really? I'm a learning machine. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. So learning agility is a big deal. I spoke to the idea of being curious and then being able to embrace the learning curve. That's another one. You absolutely have to be able to embrace the learning curve. That speaks to the idea of you having the posture of saying, what next? Why? Because if you stay with what you know, something else changes and then you're stuck. But if you are completely open-minded to what next, you're able to move on to the next thing. So learning agility is becoming a big deal, as you can see with many organizations that capture these reports online. With recruitment these days, learning agility is on top, is way, way, way on top with hiring. Yes, is way, way on top with hiring as a criteria for a disruptive era that we live in today. So change is always at the corner. If you absolutely want to do some of these things yourself, you have to be open-minded in that sense. Number 4, adopt a growth mindset. We cannot overflog this. I've even sort of given us tips speaking to that early on. We need to move away from just saying, this is what I know to do, I can't do anymore. Number 5, and this is a big one, adopt effective reframing techniques. This technique is very important. It's something I picked up in cognitive behavioral therapy. And it is huge because once you catch yourself mentioning some of these I can't phrases, I am too old phrases, I don't know how to do any other thing yet else, and all of that. Once you catch yourself using those phrases, you begin to learn how to rephrase them. You begin to rephrase those phrases. You begin to reframe them. So if you say, I just don't like tech, you may want to reframe it. This tech thing might be tough, but I'm willing to try it out. But I'm willing to explore. But I'm willing to experiment. But I'm willing to give it a try. I'm willing to give it a go. When you use those kind of reframing techniques back to back, over and over again, something begins to happen, and it's in the subconscious. You begin to retrain yourself to become more accepting, more embracing. So next week or so, I'll be speaking at Eco Innovation Center. It's a webinar. Hopefully, I'm able to share that information with you guys. And I was speaking along these lines as well, just helping people, business people, especially in our context where there's a lot of resistance amongst certain demographics. Yes, are just not open to using technology. And we are in an era. It's the era that where you can't fight it. We can't fight it. So it's important to just align. All right. So I included a number of phrases on the screen. So, just to drive home the point. Digital is so complex. I read biology in school and all of that. Those things are true, but you can change that mindset is what I'm trying to say. To adopt effective reframing techniques, I've included some examples here. So Power BI is a visual kind of reporting tool in human resources. And if you want to reframe the idea of learning, say, Power BI, it's just an example. You could say, business requires that my role do reporting using a tool as Power BI. But the reality is my schedule is tight. But, you see that but there just changes the whole dynamics. But I need to make this happen. Okay? So not just making it happen, but making it happen in a timely fashion. Mindsets are really, really big deal. Okay? I have another one, data analysis. Data analysis seems to be gaining grounds today. Is it just some fad? So you're already asking questions, isn't it? And you are just researching. I should investigate and see what the potentials are. Because in the global context that we are, we really need to begin to explore not just local skills or relevant skills, but we should be willing to play globally. Yes, I just gave you some examples of some global contacts that I made just because I was on LinkedIn. Hello, you see me just posting my articles and feeling like, okay, I'm just doing what I love. But people are actually seeing it, is what I found. People are seeing you. They may not even like your post. They may not comment on your post, but people are actually seeing you. I got a very, very interesting invite from LinkedIn just last year in the heat of the COVID, where people didn't have jobs. Oh my goodness. Somebody just walked into my LinkedIn page and said, hey, madam, I've been meaning to get some HR influencer to come on board to execute some training projects with me. But for some reason, I've not been able to get any feedback from them. It's as if they've been ignoring me. Of course, I don't consider myself by any shots as an HR influencer, okay? Yes, but I was really moved by just hearing him say that, he's been trying to reach some people who were influential in that space and that nobody was even responding to his messages. He said, okay, I have seen your post, I love your articles, and I'd love to work with you. I was like, why not? Why won't I want to work with somebody? I mean, this is why we are all here, isn't it? May I tell you, may I say to you humbly that this person actually had a project with the Central Bank of Nigeria and he was looking for a collaborator. Last year, I collaborated with him on that project and we executed it for CBN in the heat of COVID-19. So it's just that quest to do what you love, do what you want to do, but even more than that, to extend. Keep extending yourself and exploring, okay? Keep asking questions and exploring your potentials, all right? Analytics, another example here. Analytics appear too mathematical for me, but I'll be willing to enroll for a course and see where it goes from there. So you see how you're reframing, I cannot, So for example, you have a business and you need an app to run your business. You could say, I need an app for my product. I don't have a budget to hire a developer. Perhaps I can take a look at some training modules online. So on and on and on and on like that. It's just questioning and, really being willing to explore, because some of us have much more time than we actually believe that we do. We feel like we don't have time for these things, but if you look at your priority, you can reorganize. What you're trying to do is to explore and then to access opportunities that are obviously available. There are opportunities available, especially I was speaking early on about the agile and agility domain. I was speaking to a colleague who happens to have a HR group a couple of weeks ago. His name is Enyade. And he said to me, he said, Funke, if you know how heavily, is in the UK, by the way. It says if you know how heavily people are paying for HR agile courses, as in their company, the company where it works, is they are paying for trainers to come and, you know, facilitate sessions in agile HR. Big money. Really, really big. So there are some of these domains just opening up that we are not aware of. They can complement what we already do, especially as HR people, as professionals, and, you know, as entrepreneurs. Yes. So yes, I have a couple of digital resources, just trying to round off. Just trying to round off. I think we started some 10 minutes later than I would have wanted, but we'll soon finish. In another 5 minutes, I believe we should round off. So a couple of online sites for free digital courses. These things are available online, but then if you look at some of the examples I have on the screen, there are courses I've subscribed to in some of these platforms. They're free. And of course, they're the biggest of the biggest names here. Imagining you just adding some of these competencies, certifications to your CV. Then e-commerce platforms are available for those of us who have online courses to sell. If you're actively engaged on your job, nothing stops you from monetizing your knowledge, exploring courses, yes, that you can actually curate and make available. Digital allows you to do that right now. So there's an e-commerce website I mentioned earlier. They are seller. I have my courses on there. You know, if you're hosting your course, I mentioned earlier as well, Thinkific is a very good one. You can host at least 3 courses. There are constraints when it's a free version, but I don't see any disadvantage in that. If you're just starting out, it's a good platform for you to try. If you have a course or you're thinking of designing a course, please, some platforms are actually free, really, they're free. Thinkific does $0 for 3 courses, and then they begin to charge you as you go ahead for other features. In the Nigerian space, you have Kobo Course, you have Train Quarters. All of these people actually host, and they're doing good as well. Your email marketing system, I absolutely love Active Campaign. If you subscribed to this particular session, you would have gotten some automated emails. I didn't sit down to craft those emails. I scheduled them and I just put them on autopilot. They just did their thing. So thank you guys for subscribing. All right, these are some of the things I spoke to earlier. You just need to just understand which tools you need and then run with it. So I have a couple of bonus. I did mention I was going to share with you how I did my webinar sales funnel and an overview of digital marketing with Facebook. So I cannot do that because of our time. We've absolutely run out of time, but I will forward to your emails, yes, my free videos on Facebook ads, digital marketing with Facebook ads. I have a couple of videos, just to share with you, see if it's something that you would absolutely love to know more about. So this is my template for running this schedule on a digital platform. It doesn't matter whether you are selling services or products, you can build a sales funnel. A sales funnel is a system that is set up, that allows you to drive your marketing campaign from where you are looking for leads to the place where you are actually delivering a webinar like I am doing right now. I would also send this as a PDF to your contact emails. Okay, so I'm rounding off. I'll just so in a couple of seconds. Digital marketing with Facebook ads. I'm going to send you the links. I did say I will send you the links. Okay. Amazing. Promise. Thank you. Promise is thanking me for the videos, I suppose, and for the free PDFs. Thank you. All right. So I have a coaching package talking about my offers. I hope my system is not hanging. All right, so I have a package for those who are looking to design online courses. And as far as this is concerned, I'm not talking about just putting videos in recording and all of that. I'm talking about the whole system that you build around it. So please, if you're interested, details are on the screen. It starts April 13th. It's a 10-week duration course. It has 13 modules and it's going to be delivered virtually. All right. But by virtual, I mean the sessions for coaching, the coaching sessions to be delivered, or every other thing will be delivered by videos. And of course, please, if you're interested, just I'm a phone call away, I'm an email away. So please, yes, this is scope of online course. If you're very interested, it can be a lot, but with somebody by your side, you can know that it's going to be a blast. All right. So here are all the modules. I have about 13 modules in this particular course. Another one that I have is a sales funnel, very important for service businesses and product businesses. This starts April 20. Duration is 8 weeks. 7 modules in here. If you're interested, please give me a call. Absolutely. Yes, this is just details about the bundles under the sales funnel. Please just give me a call if you're interested in this. Last but not the least is the Facebook ads course itself. It starts April 30. Duration is 4 weeks. Modules is 6 weeks. Price is 25,000. Early bird is 20,000. I will be sending the link to the chat box in a minute from now. So again, I'll be sending the free videos to your email contacts. So it's a wrap. And my last words would be that the benefits of digital technology are enormous. There's no flogging that. We see that clearly. But we're saying that with digital agility and leveraging digital tools with speed becomes very practicable, and it can be a total game changer, is what we're trying to say. So I would absolutely appreciate your feedback. If this has been beneficial, I would absolutely appreciate the feedback. I will send a link to your email as well, because I see that some people have dropped off from the call. I will drop the link here and also send it to your email. Just we'll be very happy to get your feedback on how valuable, yes, if valuable, this session has been for you. So once again, it's a wrap. Thank you guys for being here. I really do hope that you had vital takeaways from this session today. So thank you, Olutola, I appreciate. Choma, thank you. Rachel, thank you. Amazing. Promise, thank you. Thank you. I like it. I appreciate your feedbacks. Thank you. Amazing. Gloria, thank you. Thank you, guys. Ms. Fashara, thank you so much. Thank you very much. So, yes, Elizabeth, thank you. Amazing. Ojola, thank you. Thank you for staying on call. Thank you. Grace, amazing. Thank you, Grace. I appreciate it. Amazing. Thank you, guys. All right. All right. I'll just try and see which links I can drop on the call before we call it a day.